In the vast landscape of human personalities, there exists a rare and extraordinary type that moves through the world like a silent whisper, the INFJ. Representing less than 1% of the global population, these individuals are walking enigmas, carrying within them a universe of emotions, insights, and complexities that remain largely invisible to the outside world. Unlike other personality types that wear their struggles on their sleeve, INFJ wage intricate battles within the depths of their inner landscape. Battles so nuanced and profound that they rarely find the words to articulate their experiences. The journey of an INFJ is not for the faint of heart. It is a path marked by extraordinary sensitivity, deep intuition, and an almost supernatural ability to perceive the hidden layers of human experience. From the moment they wake up to the time they retreat into their sanctuary of solitude, INFJ navigate a world that often feels overwhelming, misunderstood, and incredibly intense. Their internal world is a delicate ecosystem of emotions, thoughts, and intuitive insights that most people cannot even begin to comprehend. The anatomy of an INFJ, beyond personality labels. To truly understand the silent battles of an INFJ, one must first appreciate the unique combination of traits that define this personality type. The acronym INFJ represents 4 distinct cognitive functions: introverted I, intuitive N, feeling F, and judging J. But these labels are merely the surface of a much deeper, more complex psychological landscape. Each of these characteristics intertwines to create a personality type that is simultaneously a blessing and a profound challenge. The introverted nature of an INFJ means they draw energy from their inner world, preferring deep, meaningful interactions over superficial social engagements. Their intuitive function allows them to see beyond the obvious, perceiving patterns, potential futures, and underlying motivations that remain invisible to others. The feeling aspect of their personality means they process the world primarily through emotional understanding, experiencing life with an intensity and depth that can be both beautiful and exhausting. Finally, their judging function provides structure, a desire for clarity, and a methodical approach to processing their rich inner experiences. The Empathy Minefield, absorbing the world's emotions. Perhaps the most challenging battle in INFJ fights is their relationship with empathy. For an INFJ, empathy is not just a skill or a personality trait. It is a complete immersion into the emotional experiences of others. Imagine walking through the world with emotional antennae so sensitive that they can detect the subtlest shifts in another person's mood, absorbing their pain, joy, anxiety, and hope as if these emotions were your own. This extraordinary empathetic capacity is both a profound gift and a potentially devastating vulnerability. An INFJ doesn't simply understand another person's emotions. They literally feel them. A friend's passing sadness can become their own deep depression. A colleague's workplace stress can manifest as physical tension in their body. This emotional absorption is not a choice, but an involuntary response, a constant background process that runs in their psychological system. The consequences of this empathetic overwhelm are significant. Many INFJ experience chronic emotional exhaustion, finding themselves needing extensive periods of solitude to process and release the emotional energies they've absorbed. They become emotional sponges, capable of healing and understanding others, but often at the cost of their own mental and emotional well-being. The perfectionist's internal war. Beneath the calm exterior of an INFJ lies a relentless perfectionist, constantly battling impossible standards and internal expectations. This is not the casual perfectionism of someone who likes things neat, but a deep-seated, almost existential drive to create meaning, to improve, to make everything they touch better than they found it. Their perfectionism is a double-edged sword. On one side, it drives them to extraordinary achievements, pushing them to create, innovate, and transform. On the other side, it creates a constant state of internal stress and self-criticism. An INFJ doesn't just want to complete a task. They want to complete it in a way that is profoundly impactful, meaningful, and transformative. This means that even their smallest actions are filtered through a lens of deep introspection and potential improvement. The fear of failure for an INFJ is not just about making mistakes. It's about the potential of not living up to their own incredibly high standards, of not making the meaningful difference they believe they are destined to make. This creates a unique form of psychological paralysis where the fear of imperfection can sometimes prevent them from taking action at all. The loneliness of depth, misunderstood and isolated. Loneliness for an INFJ is not about physical isolation, but about the profound sense of being fundamentally misunderstood. They exist in a world where their depth of perception, their ability to see multiple perspectives simultaneously, and their rich inner landscape set them apart from most social interactions. Imagine constantly sensing the unspoken, understanding the complex motivations behind people's actions, yet feeling unable to fully communicate these insights. INFJ often feel like translators between the visible world and the invisible realms of human experience, but without a common language to bridge that gap. They long for deep, meaningful connections that match their intellectual and emotional complexity, yet find themselves surrounded by interactions that feel superficial and incomplete. This sense of isolation is not a choice, but a natural consequence of their unique way of experiencing the world. They are simultaneously the most connected and the most disconnected individuals, capable of profound empathy, yet feeling perpetually separate from the mainstream social experience. The conflict avoidance dance. For INFJ, conflict is not just uncomfortable. It is a psychological minefield that triggers deep survival mechanisms. Their natural inclination towards harmony and their ability to see multiple perspectives make them masters of avoidance, often sacrificing their own needs to maintain peace. This conflict avoidance is a complex survival strategy. By minimizing external confrontations, they protect their sensitive inner world. However, this strategy comes with a significant cost. Each avoided conflict, each unexpressed truth, each swallowed emotion becomes a pressure point in their internal emotional landscape. Over time, these unexpressed feelings create a dangerous internal tension, like a pressure cooker slowly building steam. The result is often a sudden, unexpected emotional eruption when the internal pressure becomes too great. Years of carefully maintained peace can suddenly collapse under the weight of accumulated, unexpressed emotions. Intuition, a blessing and a psychological burden. An INFJ's intuition is not a gentle whisper, but a powerful, constant stream of insights and perceptions. They don't just think or feel, they know. They can read between the lines, understand complex human dynamics in seconds, and perceive potential futures with startling clarity. This intuitive capacity is both a remarkable gift and an enormous psychological burden. Imagine constantly seeing potential outcomes, understanding the hidden motivations behind actions, and sensing the unspoken tensions in any situation. For an INFJ, this is not an occasional occurrence but a constant background process. The weight of knowing can be incredibly isolating. They often find themselves carrying truths that others are not ready to hear, seeing potential problems long before they manifest, and feeling the responsibility of that knowledge. This creates a unique form of emotional and psychological stress that few other personality types experience. Survival and coping, the INFJ toolkit. To navigate their complex inner world, INFJ developed sophisticated survival strategies. Creative expression becomes a crucial outlet. Through art, writing, music, or other forms of self-expression, they process their rich inner experiences. Selective connection becomes a survival skill, where they carefully choose relationships that offer depth, understanding, and mutual emotional resonance. Periodic isolation is not antisocial behavior, but a necessary reset mechanism. These periods of solitude allow them to recalibrate, process the emotional and intuitive information they've absorbed, and reconnect with their authentic self. Conclusion: celebrating the INFJ journey. The battles INFJ fight are silent but profound. They are warriors of emotional intelligence, navigating a world that rarely understands the depth of their experience. Their sensitivity is not a weakness, but an extraordinary form of strength. Their ability to see, feel, and understand goes beyond typical human perception. To every INFJ reading this, your complexity is your power. Your depth is your gift. Your sensitivity is your superpower.